everybody, it's your host Zay, and welcome to CAU's In Conversation first episode.
Hi, my name is Seven, IG at 7.ayyikan.
Hello, my name is Cabello.
My name is Derek.
Hey y'all, I'm Janaya.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's Lay the Baddest. Follow me on Instagram at dr.lay. I also make cupcakes, specialty cupcakes. So new posts coming out, so tap in.
Period.
Hi, my name is Yana and my Instagram is YANASCACYY.
Oh, and y'all can follow me on Instagram at YEPITSZAY, and then make sure y'all follow the podcast Instagram too at CAU's In Conversation. So today's topic is going to be about colorism. And the first question I'm going to ask is, when it comes to colorism, do you believe that it affects today's beauty standards? If so, how?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Wholeheartedly.
Why would you say?
I feel like nowadays, black people as a whole, we're compared to Eurocentric features. Like they want us to look more like white people. Well, in colorism aspects, like the lighter you look, the better you look.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you look, you lighter, you look better.
It's always been that way. Like, we're in 2022 now, and it's the fact that we still have problems like that. Like, even a dude will tell people, like, even people like, oh, I don't usually date dark skins or brown skins, but you fine for it. Like that right there.
Yeah.
And I think what hurts the most is that it comes from our own community. Like, and I don't think, like, honestly, I think colorism is just another tactic used for colonization and all that bullcrap. But the fact that it still comes from our own people, it's like, come on.
I think it really is like big in pop culture and like the movie and music industry, especially when it's like black women like Megan Thee Stallion, who are like, people call Megan Thee Stallion a horse every other day.
Yeah.
There's a tweet about that, and I feel like that comes from a place of anti-blackness.
Yeah,
and then also there's like different things about how like there's light-skinned women who get roles that are dedicated to dark-skinned women, but they give those roles to light-skinned women to fit what the people want to see.
Yeah. Even if I look back on go ahead.
Like in The Hate You Give, when that girl.
It was supposed to be a dark-skinned girl.
I don't care. Nobody's.
And they use the same, like when it comes to in Hollywood, they use the same light-skinned actresses. Zendaya is number one. Every time there's a black girl, they're gonna give it to Zendaya. But she's done like, as a person, she's done like turning down those roles.
Yeah,
but like
she's
who's the girl who played in The Hate You Give?
Amanda.
Yes, she will take any role that's given to a black. No hate to her.
And that's
like
why I admire like
And you know what's crazy? I didn't even know that it was supposed to be a dark skinned girl. So after I watched the movie, somebody told me it was like
everybody dark skinned.
I read that book before I watched the movie.
Because
Right,
even on the
everybody
book
was dark
cover,
skinned except
Yes, the whole family was
That's why I was
dark skinned.
confused.
The whole family was dark skinned. You got the daughter who's just like.
and the brother was supposed to be lighter tone because he had a different mom.
Yeah.
All right, I got another question.
Okay, wait, before you do that, how much responsibility do we have as a black community to perpetuate these same Eurocentric beauty standards that you said? Because it's cool, yeah, we know Mr. Whitey is always gonna perpetuate his things, but how responsible are we for putting these people in positions where light skinnedness is seen as more beautiful, or straighter hair is seen as more beautiful, or things such as that, you know what I mean?
That
The responsibility needs to fall on us as well.
Most plays into my next question, because the next question was, when you were younger, did you like experience colorism, or did people like make comments or pick on you because of the color of your skin? And I say it plays into what he said about us taking accountability, because it starts off at a young age, whether it's in the household or it's on the playground or it's in the classroom.
It's always taught.
Right. So it starts off younger. So that's why I was asking, like, when y'all were younger, did y'all like experience it that young?
I had that.
Like growing up. Oh no, you can talk.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Okay, but like growing up as a dark skinned girl, I will say I've never like seen colorism towards me until I got to high school.
Really?
And there's a lot of the black boys. But the thing is, it wasn't like, oh, you're ugly. It was, oh, you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. I don't typically date dark-skinned girls. Oh, if you were lighter, I'll get with you. It was still a backhanded compliments, you know? But, like, I feel like in my family, I grew up with a loving family, very diverse, like, all skin tones, never seen colorism. So it's like, it didn't really reality check until I got to high school. Yeah.
That's how it was for me. I grew up with, like, a very, very diverse family.
Yeah.
And then, but my experience probably took place starting in, like, kindergarten. I was probably like there's always like a handful of black kids in all of the schools that I went to, And then I took the GATE program, so I'm like the only black face in my classroom. So it's like the topics about slavery or that, and it's like everybody breaking their neck and turning around.
Yeah, and
like,
look at you. The teacher's just like, okay, guys, pay attention.
yeah, like you're always
yeah.
singled out being that one black kid or one of a few. Like it's insane.
I've personally never experienced colorism because I'm lighter, so I don't feel like someone who looks like me could actually experience colorism. So yeah, but I've seen it with people who I know that are darker, and yeah.
What I want to say is, when I was younger, I never like experienced colorism, but I could definitely say that before I knew what it was, I was one of those kids that made like the jokes like, "Oh, you so dark, you can't see when the lights off" type
Yeah.
stuff. Like I was definitely one of those kids until I got older and I like realized what the comment was or like what it actually meant, and then it was like, damn, I was really one of them people that said that.
And that's when the word like microaggressions come in, because a lot of them you don't really realize that you're you're perpetuating a microaggression.
I used to, like, I kid you not, back home from where I'm from, I used to be walking in the store. I guarantee you, like, 5 people will come to me like, "Oh my God, are you Haitian? Are you Haitian?" And I'm like, "No, I'm Puerto Rican. You're too dark to be a Puerto
I'm
Rican."
sorry, can I stop you right there?
Go ahead.
Because both of y'all was kind of playing into another question I was going to ask. The question was, how do you feel about the stereotype that thicker hair is associated with darker skin and people that have thinner hair is associated with light skin?
Because that's a damn lie.
It
I didn't
is.
see somebody
It's
that long with
like,
some long pretty hair.
How you was saying like, oh, your hair is so long or whatever, and then you said like they assumed that you was like mixed or something.
Yeah, they do, because like when I do wear my natural hair, it's very curly, it's very full. So they be, "Are you Haitian? Like you have such a, like they say you have such a pretty skin, you must be Haitian." Are you? You're like, "No, I'm Puerto Rican." I'm like, "You're too dark to be Puerto Rican."
Yeah.
No, babe, dark Puerto Ricans exist.
Yeah.
we here, we're here, we exist, babe. Like don't. But that
But I
stuff like
also
that.
think people
yeah.
that think that, sorry to disturb you, people that think that it also shows a little bit of ignorance, because if you look at the continent of Africa, I'm from South Africa, and we have very light skin, or at least the original South Africans, but they have the coarsest hair. Like the hair looks like steel wool, and the further you go up, the looser the hair gets, until you arrive at like North Africa with the Egyptians and all that stuff.
Right.
So if you think that dark-skinned people don't have hair like ladies, for example, then you just need to educate yourself, because that's exactly who has it. Actually, technically, it's the darker-skinned people who have the loose hair. If you look at the Ethiopians and you look at them type of people there.
And then when it ties into like with the hair, like when the lighter has better hair, like every time they refer to light people, they be like, "Oh, they have the better hair." Like, and I see it in boys a lot. A lot of dark skinned boys, they be like, "Oh, I'm having a good child with a lighter girl because I want my kid to have good hair." Hair is genetics, y'all. It has nothing to do with just skin tone. I have a dark skinned friend who literally has 3B hair. Like she has the loosest curls and everything. Like, and people ask, "Oh, are you mixed? Are you mixed?" You always rely to having white in you, which doesn't make sense. Two fully black parents, and you're assuming that she has something else in her because her hair is loose.
And that's what doesn't make sense to me, because most white people only have straight hair. It's never curly.
Yep.
There's only like a handful of white people whose hair is just like kind of curly a little bit.
And it's not like real tight.
No, it's not like
it's little loose.
It's them little like
waves.
About the whole mixed thing, that's always like somebody's first assumption. Like I got that a lot too, when it's like, "Oh, you have pretty skin. Where are you from?"
Right.
And it's just like, "I'm black. Like why can't I just be black?"
I think with that one, it might be a fair assumption, because light-skinned people look mixed. There's a certain point where you have to be like, okay, you kind of do look like a mixed person. So it depends on how you ask it. You know?
But then it's kind of bad to ask though, because that's where those microaggressions come.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're just assuming that all light people have white in
And the
them.
reason I agree with that
supposed to
is
go up to
because I have a friend that I've been friends with like since the sandbox, and she's like as light as you, and she has like I think her hair is like somewhere near mine. It might be a little bit thicker, but both of her parents is like black on black. Like she's not mixed with nothing. But that's just how it was in her DNA. That's just how it is. So it's like, you know, people might assume, because if you look at other people from the mixed community, it looks like that.
And you can't even go off the hair texture, because
Right.
I'm mixed and my hair texture is as thick as my dad's.
And my friend, I have a person from back where I'm from who I went to school with. She's mixed, like completely white mom, black father. Her hair is not like loose curls at all. It's
of course.
And like, so I don't think it's good to ask those kind of questions. Like, it's okay to ask it, but it's just like, okay, if that's the first thing you're asking somebody, it's kind of like messed up because
It doesn't matter.
there's people. It does matter because there's people who are very serious about their blackness, and when you try to put like, oh, you might be mixed with white on them, that kind of it's offensive.
No, I mean like if they are mixed, it doesn't matter because I mean America still sees them as a nigger.
If they are mixed, yeah, true.
Regardless of if
Yeah.
you're mixed or not, you're still in the column of the Negro.
Right,
But
so
it's-
you saying it don't matter, like they shouldn't ask.
It doesn't even matter at this point.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, because they still got black.
Yeah.
I get what
It
you're
still has to
saying.
be
I get what you're saying.
But that's still not like
That's
too much of a
disrespectful.
because there's mixed people who are more like leaning towards their white side
Yeah.
that are they're inherently racist too.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just really just comes down to who you're talking to.
I know a lot,
Not
especially
too much.
growing up in the South, a lot of mixed kids are like that. They always want to be more to their white side than to their black side. And I don't just blame them, I blame their parents too for not pushing their black side to their family. There's so many kids I know. They only close to their white side. We're like, do you know your black family? They're like, not really, but your dad is in your life. So there you go. I'm like, I blame your father too. And I really see that more with white moms, black dads. Black moms, white dads, it'd be a whole different type of in tune with culture. But I mean, it really depends who your parents are and who the kid is.
Yeah, I feel like the mixed kids that only leans into like their black side, they have like black moms. Cause like it'd be like dads, they'd be like, oh, I want to have mixed children. Like I don't want to have no dark babies. I'm like, what's wrong with having a beautiful dark skinned baby?
Where your mom at?
And that kills me. And I think a lot of the colorism in our community, and I hate to say it, is from black men.
It is.
And I think it's in tune. They have hate against themselves. Like they're insecure about their skin tone. That's why they take it out and be like, oh, I want my kids to be light skinned.
But you know, but that just goes all the way back to like slavery because they separated people, the African Americans from the beginning. The field people were the darker skinned ones. The house people were the lighter skin tones. So
Let's talk about
obviously,
it.
and I think even from there, that's where like envy kind of started. That's where colorism really like stemmed from, and that's where I feel like a little bit of the envy came from. That's why I feel like some of the black men.
I wanna hold. You can keep going.
Okay, so like she was saying, how they associate, like how we were all saying, like how darker skin is associated with certain, like specific things, same as light skin. Another thing, because you said something about it, stems from the way like their parents taught them and all that. One thing I have learned that black men do all the time is, I don't want no dark skin B because she gonna be loud, ghetto, and ratchet.
Yes,
Let's talk about that right there. Hear me every
Yes.
time. You don't like black women because they're loud, ghetto, and ratchet, but you're not real. Look at your mother. Look at your mother.
And it'd be the boys with the darkest moms
It's
in
the
the
darkest
world.
skin moms. They be the
Right.
darkest chocolate men, and then they be like, I don't want no ghetto B because that's why I only F for light skins.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and it'd be like the men who like, oh, I want somebody that's like my mom, but then they meet somebody that's like their mom, and they treat them like the way you just said. Like, I don't get it.
Y'all know what's crazy? That's actually another topic that we don't talk about. So if y'all want to talk about that one, y'all can get into that one. It's black men's evolution with their preference of women. So if y'all wanna get on that one, y'all can too. But now, since we talked about it's stemming from a younger age, or like the playground and classrooms or in the household. Now that y'all older, do y'all feel like for darker skinned people and or like just skin people, when you feel like people compliment you on the tone of your skin or whatever, do you feel like it's genuine, or do you feel like it just goes with riding a wave of a recent uplift in the darker skin community?
Okay, I'm gonna say this. All right, me being dark skinned, I would always say a lot of the compliments I got, they were genuinely like, they were being for real when they were saying it to me. But now, like, Black Lives Matter, this and that, I got, where I'm from is a lot of white people. So I felt like more, white people slide up my spine, like, oh my God, you're so pretty. And I'm like, you ain't never told me that before. You're telling me this now, like after all what's happened, now you're telling me that? So sometimes I feel like, I don't know, I can't tell if you're being for real or not. When it comes from black boys, I will say, I'm into black guys. That's my type. I like black guys. I'm always for black men. So when they talk to me, I've always felt like it was genuine. I never had like a guy be like, say it just cause. I mean, I've never messed with a black guy who dated white girls. They've always been all black women type guys. So when that genuine thing, I don't know.
I got one thing. Okay, I feel like a lot of like the black love as of right now, especially on social media, I feel like a lot of it is performative. And I want to say that because there's things that are happening like with a celebrity who did something that controversial, something that people could disagree with. But the second like a person says, oh, they call them out for it, it's, oh, why y'all hating on a black woman for this, that, and I feel like it's very performative. Because when there's sometimes where a black person does something, you could call them out for it. But then their fans or somebody who really, really likes it, like, oh, y'all just doing this because it's a black woman.
And sometimes you gotta hold people accountable. I understand, like, we always want to support and uplift our race all the time. But at the end of the day, you know, wrong is wrong. Like, I seen on TikTok, it was a debate where a black guy stormed into somebody's house and held a gun to their head. And, like, some people who supported Black Lives Matter because he got killed by the police, because he had a gun in his hand, he was trying to shoot them. Like, people, Black Lives Matter, they were trying to defend him and be like, his life mattered. I'm not saying his life didn't matter, but you can't sit here and try to support the fact this man went to somebody's house with their kids, held up a gun, and then you're trying to shoot at the police. Of course, police shoot us without even no guns on their hand. You think they finna not shoot you and you got a gun in your hand?
Like, right, as black people, we have to be much more conscious of what we're doing. We're already targeted for nothing, so when you're doing something that'll get you targeted, it's on you at that point because you're doing it.
Like, I'm not saying you deserve to die. I feel like you should have did the jail time over dying. But at the end of the day, you can't sit here and try to defend his actions just because he was a black man.
Because he know what he was doing.
Yeah, he was grown. You had no mental illnesses, nothing. You knew what you were doing. And then the fact you were targeting children was the bigger issue. I didn't like how people were supporting him. Well, of course, like, yes, sad that he died, but you're kind of defending in a way the things that he did.
Right, as if it was right, and he really had, To piggyback off of Zay's question, though.
Wait, which one? Was it the one that I just asked, or a
about, like,
previous one?
genuine, like, do you think it's genuine?
Oh, it's the one I just asked. Okay.
I've never thought it was genuine, because every time I received like a compliment about my skin tone or my skin color or something like that, it's always been from a white person, and I always feel like it's like, oh, you have pretty skin. What's your mom? Like, what's your ethnicity? Or oh my God, like your hair looks like, oh, your hair is so pretty for, you know, whatever. Or you have really nice eyes. What is your mom? Or what is your dad? And it's just like, but you only asking me because you want to sell me, like.
That's true, because I have a cousin like that. My cousin, 2 fully black parents, green eyes. He gets that question all the time, and I'm like,
hazel eyes and red hair.
Like
all of this comes from black people. All of these like different features comes from black people.
And they think, and they be like, especially like a common trend is like I know this is off topic, but like when we don't want white people having box braids, and then the thing is y'all have blonde straight hair. I know black people with blonde hair, so it's like
plenty black people.
So it's like y'all don't own straight,
right?
Like you don't own straight blonde hair. Like we can have straight hair too, but I'm just like nobody owns a hair color.
And no, Tino shade. Don't nobody want your straight hair anyway. I like my coils, so like what?
Exactly. But I just things like that. It's like I don't know how to put it, but
it's like you always gotta be foreign to them. Like
yes,
like you can't be black with them. You can't be black and have good.
You gotta have something else in you. You
gotta be European.
I'm gonna bring us back. My next question is: do y'all believe that colorism is affecting the black community's mental health today?
First, stop cutting people off, say.
Do y'all believe that colorism today affects the black community's mental health?
Especially
it does.
Children hear it the most, especially from their peers, from their teachers, even from their own parents sometimes, because depending on what race their mother or their father is, they may get some type of, you know, you're my darkest child, you know, stuff like that. Because I've had a friend she was mixed, and she was her mom's darkest child. Her dad was like Jamaican or something like that. And all of her siblings were like really light, fair skin, had like looser colored hair. She had thicker, coarse hair, and she was the darkest out of all, like really, really dark skin. And her mom would basically treat her differently. But she was only probably like 8. So not only did she get it from school, she got it at home, and then different administration, you know, it's just crazy.
And it starts insecurities, really.
Yes.
Like, I remember being in school, like I went to a fairly like predominantly white school. I was always the only black kid. I was always the only black kid in my classes because I was in like the higher classes. So they'd be like, mostly from other black kids, they would start with, oh, you're a burnt brownie or stuff like that. And it starts insecurities really young. Because I remember when I was in elementary school though, like, 'cause when somebody called me that, I did not want to be dark skinned no more. Like, had a whole white girl face. 'Cause I wanted to be what everybody thought was beautiful. But my mom always preached us, like, our skin was beautiful no matter what. Don't let nobody else make you think that you're not beautiful because you're darker, you know? So it does start insecurities, and sometimes it does start from home, because I've seen it myself where parents comparing their children. And it's not cool, because I have cousins, like, the whole spectrum, like, from youngest to oldest, like, darkest to lightest. And it's like, when you treat your kids based off their skin color, like, what are you doing to your kids?
And then another thing that I'll be seeing too is, like, since we talking about, like, from the parent thing, it's like when they say, like, when a child gets older, they'll be like, oh, you was lighter as a baby. I thought you was gonna be light skinned. I didn't think you was gonna be this dark. And it's like damn, like, you wanted me to be light skinned, like, because the way they say it is not like.
It don't sound positive.
Right,
It has a negative connotation on it.
And just even with that though, because like a lot of kids, they be trying to prove like why they're dark now, because they be like, oh, look at me, I was light as a baby, and I just in the sun too much. I'm like, there is nothing wrong with your skin color. Like, we all do. Like, even I was light as a baby, and that, over time I gradually started getting darker. It's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of kids be trying to defend themselves
Well, I feel like
why they're so dark now.
They falsify their ethnicity because they don't want it to be like. They be quick to be like you know your daddy and your mom, they both black from the South.
Exactly.
They be like, oh, my dad's from the Caribbean, and you know he has really dark skin, and it's just like, no, like, you don't have to falsify what you are, you know, but they feel like they have to because that's the only way it's socially acceptable.
I think it does, because I know people like that got bullied for their dark skin so bad, to the point that they would bleach their skin so they could be seen as beautiful. And that's sad. Like, it's sad, because I don't think, like, just because you're dark, that doesn't mean you're ugly. And it comes back, you know, like, how they be doing, like, videos on YouTube, like, dark skins or light skins.
I hate that.
And there's a lot of the YouTube videos with like smash your past, and like the way I see a lot of the guys treating the darker skinned girls just makes me so sick. I'm like, what does your mother look like?
Exactly.
For you to even be going, and because you calling all the dark skinned girls ugly, and like, no, I think all black is beautiful, but like, be for real, you light skin does not automatically mean cute. That's just the honest truth. God forgive me. I see a lot of not very pretty looking light skinned girls. But light skins doesn't define that you're cute or not. Like, me personally,
they do not be giving 20,000 likes in 5 minutes. I'm sorry, they
and
don't.
that's social media. How likes I'll see a dark skinned girl post a picture. She'd be like model status, like Naomi Campbell. She'll get 300 likes in 2 days. This light skinned girl, just because she got a big butt and a nice wig in, she got 30,000 likes. And I think it all comes in from colorism, because you automatically think a light-skinned girl will look better than
And even if it's not a light-skinned girl, it's somebody like Kylie Jenner who takes a black feature and then they're putting it, you know, they're making it like it be known that they have these black features, that they want to have these black features, and it's like, oh, we're gonna envy her because she does it right.
Yeah. And even with that though, like, I see on TikTok a lot where like white girls who have all these black features, they just know whether they're just white. They got some black in them. Like, why are you automatically just associate that to them getting BBLs and breast lifts and stuff like that? It doesn't make sense.
Like, nowadays,
and black is natural.
Period. Nowadays, you can't even tell a dark skinned girl like that she's beautiful, because they be in the comments like, oh, you're only telling her she look good because she's dark skinned. No, she just look good.
Right.
No, because I definitely feel like, because my friends like back home, they be like, oh, you, because I used to be a person, like, when I was younger, my dad used to go outside, play with your friends, and I used to be so scared to go outside because I would always be outside in the sun. I'm like, I do not want to be no darker. Like, I used to say, I'm not going outside. I would never go, and it would come down to where he'd have to drag me outside, kicking and screaming, like, go play. And I would sit in the most shadiest area. I would have on full clothes, sweating. Because I want to be dark, like because like I will always see like in movies and stuff like that, and like I would see like even in the profession that I wanted to go into, which I wanted to be a cardiothoracic surgeon, which most of y'all know. I would never see dark skinned doctors. They would be light skinned, like even on Grey's Anatomy, Miranda Bailey. Like I'd be like, okay, no, what all right. So what y'all telling me is I need to be a little bit lighter. So stuff. I know I don't, but. Stuff like that, that plays into a lot of the insecurities that, you know, children grow up with, and it really does start like at a young age, and it's just sad.
And since you brought up careers, I'm gonna ask a question, because I feel like with careers it's also targeted, like colorism is also something that's like a big target, especially like okay, my field, I'm going into psychology. I want to be like therapeutic help to youth. You don't see a lot of black representation.
I'm interested in that too.
You do not see a lot of black representation. When you go to consultations, your teachers are not black.
Yeah.
When you're sitting down for an interview, your interviewer is going to be 90% of the chance they're not going to be black.
Yeah.
When you get into your field, you're going to probably be one of 3 of the only black people in the building, and then it's like they give you secondhand work. It's not like you're top of the line. They're not valuing you for what you are, and it's like that in engineering, computer science, like everything.
And that's why I think it is so important that you like. I feel like as given like social media, like the way that they portray us, like that, you know, African American men are only meant to be drug dealers or end up in jail. The girls are meant to be, you know. I don't even know because there's so many.
Why is it a shock to see a dark skinned man in a suit working in a business? Like, oh, he got a good job. Like,
right, oh, he a good man. He got, you know what I'm saying?
saying?
Like and I think it's so important. That's why like education, like to me, education means the world. I'm not playing when it comes to school because I know that my whole goal since I've been, you know, since a freshman, because I went to a PWI and they used to, oh, you want to, like, even the parents, like, who some of my good friends, you know, who I call my second family, they'd be like, you want to be a cardiothoracic surgeon? Oh my gosh, that's so, like, yeah, babe, I got dreams, just like your son, just like little Timmy, I got dreams, babe, like, you know what I'm saying? But education is so important, and I really want, one of my biggest goals in my life is to like break that stigma. I want to be a person who changes the narrative for African American men, especially young men, because it's so hard out here being African American as is, but just we on the up. We coming up.
I'm gonna respond to both of y'all said. I'm gonna start with you though. I want to add on to that because like my whole like right now I'm a criminal justice major. I was thinking about double majoring in psychology because I was also interested in the youth thing with children or whatever, specifically in the black community. And then what you said about like the stereotype of the black man or whatever is gonna end up being a drug dealer in the hood and shit like that. The whole reason that I wanted to like, you know, be a part of an area where it's like criminal justice or with psychology is so I can like be in that field of the law to like prevent shit like that from happening or to start where it starts at a younger age and like, you know, help them out or talk to them about stuff like that so they don't end up falling into those stereotypes.
And did you notice they never advocate for black children to get help? Like sometimes we can blame the parents because the parents be like, oh no, we don't need therapy. But we can also blame the school system because I've had a couple of incidents where it's like I felt like I needed to talk to a counselor. They're not going to refer me to a counselor.
Right, but if
they're going to ask me if I want to go home. But that white boy who just raged in the cafeteria, oh, he's going to sit in that counselor's office all day. He's going to get the help.
They gonna send him to the office and say, go talk to the counselor, go have a seat. But like that's. And I don't even understand that, like, why, as an African American people, why do we not seek out mental health? I don't get that. Like, me, like,
it's because it's not just as, like, it's because for reasons, you know, a lot of the time we couldn't afford to have mental health issues. Or when we did have them, you can't afford to take the time to get help. So if that happens to the generation before, it happens to the generation. And there's some kids in this school now who can't afford to take time to look after their mental health. So I don't like when people, especially in the black community, come after people for not seeking help for these kind of mental issues because a lot of the time you have family to take care of. You have children, you have parents. We don't get, a lot of the time, black people don't get wills from their parents and trust funds and things. Which means you have to take care of your parents. And a lot of the time, depression and stuff like that, whilst I probably will get canceled for this, for the longest time, it's kind of been a privilege to be able to take care of those kinds of things. Because taking care of things like depression and mental health requires money. It requires time away from work. It requires time away from raising a family, taking care of a family that raised you, and things like that. So, I don't know, I've always felt weird when people are like, oh, black people don't take mental. We do take it seriously, but because of our economic and social positions, we can't really a lot of us can't take them. Like, do you think somebody in Ethiopia who is worried about what they're gonna eat tomorrow has time to think about how depressed they are? They really don't. Somebody in the projects who needs to keep the lights on and needs to make sure that this child goes to school with food in their belly doesn't have the time to say, I feel anxiety right now. We can't. Some of us can't afford to feel these feelings. You know what I mean?
That's also a double
And
standard.
it's dangerous. Yeah.
It's a double standard though, because I personally, like my old friend, he basically has money. His family has money. He went through a long period of time where he was just depressed. It was bad, and his parents knew. And it was like, what do you need therapy for? That was their first response. When he first opened up saying that he wanted help, it was, what do you need therapy for? It's not like he didn't have the insurance to cover it or his family didn't have the money for it. It was simply just an older black parent saying, you'll be all right. I feed you. I clothe you. I make sure you got.
That's what I'm talking
You
about.
get whatever
That's
you
what it
want.
means.
So when you
generational.
have, and I got that same speech when I first
And
opened up
did
to
too.
my mom. It was,
So did I.
I feed you, I clothe you, you got clothing in your back, whatever.
You're not
What is there to be
homeless,
depressed
You right.
about?
There's the thing.
Right.
They be you got food in your belly. You go to school, right?
Yeah.
The lights is on. You don't have to be sad about
But it takes
Okay.
but it does take education for us to teach
Because how
black
else are
parents
parents
to.
supposed to know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
because they
Well, I feel
didn't, their
like-
parents didn't teach them that.
Yeah.
But I feel like as a society now, our generation, we're more aware of stuff going
Yes,
on.
that's what I was
So we'll
gonna
break
say.
the generational curses for our kids so it can keep
Right.
going down. Like personally, my parents, they weren't like that. But like I'm saying, I've seen a lot of kids around me, like their parents do not take depression seriously.
But-
And then it resulted in suicide and that opened their eyes, which I hate that so many kids
Had to
that
take
I
their
knew
route
took
before
that
they-
route before their parents could take it serious. Now, I know a girl who committed suicide. Now her parents are the biggest mental health advocates. I'm like, it's sad that she had to take that route for them to finally open their eyes and see.
But I feel like that's what like kind of confuses me about black parents because when they were younger, they probably was telling their parents, "Oh, I don't feel good," or
Yeah.
So I feel like if your parents didn't do it to you, why wouldn't you want to?
Why would you think that's okay?
Bring
They
it
do it
back
to
to
their kids.
yourself,
See,
like-
that's what I was saying about education. They need to be educated in order to understand. Like my mom, it took her a long minute, but now that's one of her biggest things. Like she's like, you need to get help. You need to make sure you're staying on top of this. If you need to go talk to somebody, you go talk to somebody. Like you schedule an appointment. And I'm still thankful for that. But it just sucks because it's like I know so many people who have parents like that won't even encourage that. Like even if it's free,
I feel
what do
like
you need to go talk to
experiencing-
somebody about it?
I feel like experiencing it firsthand though, like experiencing it as a child should have been your education. When you went through it, that should have been the thing
That's
that's so.
unfair. That's unfair to expect of anybody.
But
You can't expect somebody who's gone through trauma to know how to fix that trauma.
it's not about knowing how to fix it.
We're
though.
the first generation, Gen Z, I feel like it's the first generation where we have access to enough information to understand these things deeply. Our parents didn't grow up with social media where people can go on and say, hey guys, I want to talk about mental health. All they had was, I'm going through this, mom, I'm going through this. Their mom says, you're fine. They said, okay, I'm fine. They can only teach us what they know.
But when we're older, when we're telling them this, they're grown adults, so they know how to comprehend and understand. So we're telling them this isn't right.
I need help.
You should that. So saying that it's not fair is not a good statement because they did
to help us.
because they did go. I'm not saying that they should know
they've been
how.
through it, so they understand what it would feel like. For
Exactly,
somebody to be
that's what
reaching
I'm
out for
saying.
help.
But with that being said, it has gotten better. Like our parents
Oh,
were
yeah,
better
for
than
Not for
our
mine.
parents.
It's gotten
Better than
better,
your
but-
parents.
Ain't got better.
I mean,
Not for everybody.
No, not for because
Because-
it took for my friend having the police shown up at my house when I said I was going to commit suicide for my dad to know that I was depressed.
Again, not for everybody.
But still, like, not that just because it's not everybody doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It still
I didn't
exists.
get help therapy wise, like until like I came out and everything, and I knew like I need somebody to talk to because like it just like so many thoughts in my head, like I know who's gonna accept me or not. But I didn't get help until my grandma passed away in 2020, and I still didn't get. I started getting therapy sessions this year, and for problems that I had all my life.
Same for me.
So it's like.
Same for me.
So it's like, you know, like you give your parents like these benefits of the doubt, and it's like, yeah, I'm like, okay, like maybe I am good, but like
But
your
I think-
parent like doesn't like,
There has to
but
be
then it's
some
also
accountability.
you don't really show your parents everything that you're going through,
Yeah.
and you can't sit here and lie like you do because I don't, like you don't always show your parents what you're going through.
But I feel like that comes from when you did show them they weren't doing anything to help you out.
There's
Whenever
very
I was showing my
specific-
mom what I was going through, or if I was like acting a certain way, or telling her, "Oh, this is happening with me," she might say, "Oh." Like, I wouldn't say my mom was like the kind of person to say, "Oh, you're fine, like you're good." She wasn't that kind of person, but she also wasn't the kind of person that like, "Okay, what can I do to help you out?" She's just like, "Oh," like I could tell her, "Oh, I don't feel good about this, that, and the third," but she wasn't really helping me to fix it.
And like just
Yeah.
in my, I don't know how your situation is, but speaking specifically for the African American men, we are taught from a very young age. You cry, toughen up, stop acting like a B word. Like that's what we are taught. So when we are going through these problems and we're dealing with it, like me personally, I feel like I cannot tell my dad anything because not only was I a gay child, I was a gay child who did not really care that if everybody knew I was gay. But my dad was, oh, so you want to be a girl? Why you crying? You want to be a girl? He said stuff like that. So as I was growing up, I'm like, okay, I need to not say that. That's why, like, half the time, none of my friends even know half the stuff that I be going through. Like, it really is about one person because she actually took the time. She's like, I'm not playing with you. Like, talk to me. And so, but when you hear stuff like that, it kind of just makes you refrain from being able to be open to even saying something, because if you do say something, like I said, for the African American, you're gonna be deemed as you acting like a girl, like you a punk. That's what that is.
I wanna not to cut you off, but that's also another topic that we don't touch on. So I don't want to touch on too much. I mean, I don't want to touch on that too much. It's black men and their emotions and how it's viewed in today's society. So I want to put a pause on that too. All right, and we back. We had to pause for a second. One of our cast members had to step out. And I want to bring us back from the whole mental health conversation back to colorism. And it was going back on something that you was talking about earlier. When darker skinned people see lighter skinned people viewed in a higher light, do you think it creates envy between the two? Because when you were talking about the whole like house slaves and then slaves that were left outside, and it creates the, oh, well, I want to be them because they're in the house or shit like that. Like, do you think that it creates envy between the two?
I definitely think it does. Like, I think that's where it started. Going back to slavery, when they split basically all of us up. It's like, darker skinned people like, oh, so we kind of feel like, oh, so y'all better than us, so we're going to try our best to look like you, so we don't, like, if something like that were, then we can all say, oh, well, we all in the house, ain't nobody in the field work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's really where it starts, and I do think that envy happens. I've even been like guilty of doing it. Like, I have friends who are like, I'm like, oh, girl, you so pretty. Like, I wish I could be as light as you. Like, girl, like, I be telling her, like, my friend, a really good friend of mine, that I be like, oh, girl, your skin is just beautiful. Like, you just light up in the sun. Like, and she's like, your skin is really pretty. She's like, you have a dark, rich color. And I be like, girl, stop lying. I hang up the phone because I be mad. Like, so I be mad. But I think, and I do think that's where it started from, like slavery, when they split us up. And it does create envy.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Can you pause that real quick?
That song, like, I like my going da 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 da. But when rappers, they make songs about dark skinned girls now. I forgot what song it is, but the light skinned crew, like, they be so mad because they're like, oh, like, why can't y'all make songs about me like this? But like, they've been doing that for years. Like, y'all been, go ahead. Y'all had the spotlight on y'all for years. So why are you so mad that now they're like, what's the word? Appreciate, not even that word, but like
getting recognition.
More, like,
that's one thing, and I could say it on Twitter. And on Twitter, that is one thing I've been seeing a lot more. So I've been seeing a lot more like dark skinned men or just black men in general saying like they're expressing their interest in darker skinned women, whatever. And this light skinned woman who was mixed took it to like a whole nother level because she's like, you're not appreciating the light skin when we're all black. You're putting us against each other. And he said, no, I'm stating my preference the same way that another dark skinned man may say, I only like light skinned women. You're not gonna defend the dark skinned women in that case. You're gonna take appreciation and be like, oh, I'm a red bone, I'm light skinned, he like me. Like, it's ridiculous.
I also think having a preference is a way to be a colorist, because they're like, oh, my type is light skin, like I would never date a dark skin.
Like,
that was one of my questions too, but I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else to say.
Like, me personally, like, I say, like, when people, like, when my friends and like even family members are like, oh, so what type of dude you like? I be like, I don't discriminate. Right. I'm more of a person. Like, it's more about like personality, like what you got going on in your, what goals you got going for yourself, and then if you happen to be, whatever, and you got some like, we good. I don't really care.
Yeah. The question was that I said that y'all had answered it. It was like, do you feel like if a man or a woman says, my preference is only dark skin or only light skin, do y'all believe that that's actually a preference, or are you being colorist?
You're being colorist. Because there's some attribute that specific skin tone has that
you adore.
Nice, yeah.
Adore.
Not even that. Not even just adore, but there's probably something like on the opposite side where it's kind of just like I don't like them because of this. Like how I was saying, black men saying he doesn't like a darker skinned woman because they're ghetto or they have like a what is it called?
I feel like you can't just only like light skins because there's no way you don't find any dark skins or like darker toned women attractive. There's just no way. Shut up, Cabello.
Huh?
Huh?
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh. I'm sorry. See me, I don't want to date outside of my.
Sexualizing?
I thought it was right.
Stigmatizing?
Okay.
Go ahead.
My type is simply black. Like if you're black, I love you. Like I'm not gonna date a white person. I just can't do it because I want beautiful black children, dark skins, light skins. I just don't care. Like I just want beautiful black children, and I would hate like to have a kid with a white man. And then my kid is on the internet trying to prove their blackness. Oh, this is my mom. Like she, like no,
my mom is black.
No, like no.
Do y'all believe that in the effort to stop colorism, because like colorism is a social justice issue that we're facing. Do y'all believe that in the battle to stop colorism, that all skin tones should work together, united, or do you feel like it's a separate battle that they need to fight by
It
themselves?
needs to be
That's an
united.
obvious ass
It
question.
used to be united, but I feel like it takes more than just having one conversation of one group of people. It's something that we need to start educating children for one.
To fix Eurocentric. Sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Keep
go
on going.
ahead.
No, keep on going.
But I feel like people still hold on to things that they learn as a child. So if your parent taught you to feel a certain type of way about a specific type of color, or if you were treated a certain type of way because of your color, you're only going to carry that on into your adulthood and then force that onto your children if you don't better yourself. So I really feel like as a society, we just have to educate our youth more than we try to speak to an 80-year-old man who already is set in his ways and don't give a fuck. Like,
No, for real.
it's insane.
And you said the question was what?
I said to fix Eurocentrism, you need Afrocentrism.
No, before that, when I asked the question, you said
That's the Instagram caption, I ain't gonna lie.
You said it was obvious. The answer was obvious.
Bro, like I mean, obviously we have to work together. So you're gonna have the light skins there. Hey, we're working on problems over there. You're gonna have dark skinned people working on problems in the medium. That doesn't make sense. We have to work together. What are you saying, bro?
I'm gonna say this. I have friends that I know for a fact, and I've seen it before, that people from the dark skin community, it's like
Dark skin community.
I mean, people that's
See, it starts with, from the host, yo, like.
I'm saying like from the dark skin area in the black community,
It's
like
no
the dark skin
area,
people,
bro.
We're all
darker
just
skin.
black.
Right.
Black people.
You're okay, but your skin tone is darker though. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. I'm just saying like people that are darker
Bro,
skinned,
stop
like
talking, bro. Nah.
You know how
Can I
hard it
bring up one more thing though?
I actually want to hear what he wants to say.
Hold on.
Because you said like colorism is affecting like darker toned people, right? So I'm saying those darker toned people, I've heard out of their mouth, we want to do this by ourselves. This is a battle that we need to fight by ourselves. We don't want them to help us. We don't want them to do this, blah, blah. This is our thing, blah, blah. So I asked the question because some people really do feel that it's a personal thing. Like this issue with me and the rest of the world is personal. I don't need nobody else standing by my side. If you're not like me or if you're not experiencing what I'm experiencing, I don't want your help. So that's why I said they might not want people from that's lighter toned or that's in the middle or whatever you want to call it to help them.
That's a personal preference. That's a personal preference.
Yeah,
But as a society, we need to be able to educate ourselves and grow together because we're
I do
still
agree with that.
separating
I agree
ourselves
with
and
Not
we're
just as a
Yeah,
society, but as
sure.
the black community.
How do
Yeah.
you fix a problem that involves all of us by separating us?
That's
Right, I
separating
agree.
us and
I
trying to
agree.
figure it out on our own. Like,
Yeah, because
I
it's like,
think
how are you
there's
gonna
no
fix
way.
the problem if the people who are
Already
not gonna work
perpetuating
with it?
Yeah.
If you're not gonna work with the problem, basically.
Right, I'm gonna just clear that up. I agree with what y'all was saying. I asked the question because I know that that's some people's point of view. So I just wanted to put that out there as a topic or whatever.
The last thing I wanted to bring up was that whole. Have you guys seen like on Twitter or even on Instagram where it'd be like every pretty light skinned friend got an ugly dark skinned friend?
Yes.
Why is that so fucking
Yes.
normalized? Why is that so normalized?
Yo,
He looking like I ain't never seen
You've never
that
heard
before.
that?
There's no way,
it's
bro.
something that I've seen.
Do y'all believe that colorism affects both light skinned and dark skinned people or only
No,
dark skinned
no.
people?
Not as
No.
much.
I'm gonna say not as much.
I don't think it affects
I
dark
would
skinned
say
people at all.
it's half and no, it's not even half and half. It's 75 to whatever percentage is outside of
25.
I say 85.
I was gonna say 25.
I said 95.
85.
But I'm saying
99.9%.
I'm saying they don't have that problem. They don't have that much of a problem when it comes
It's
to that.
95.5, bro.
Yeah, because
No, it's 99.9.
Tell them.
That's
0.001.
Why do you think that?
Because there's nothing that's like, I've never experienced colorism, period. It's never been anything about my skin tone that I had to hear that made me feel like, oh, I really wish I was a different skin tone. Light skinned people have it better in today's society. In all society they've had it better. I'm not really, I wouldn't say that I'm fully like light skinned, but I'm not dark skinned, I'm not barely brown, I'm not even brown skinned really.
Now let me say this.
Hold on, let me
I thought you was done. I'm sorry.
yeah, like, let him talk.
Right, he always interrupts us.
I thought you was
Like,
done.
damn.
I thought you was done. My bad.
Well, he wasn't done.
Go ahead.
I feel like there's things that dark skinned people and only dark skinned people go through that I've never ever experienced. So it'd be unfair for me to compare the two as if they're the same because they're not. Dark skinned people can't say anything about light skinned people that's gonna perpetuate a real stereotype. The only thing that happen are like oh, light skinned people are soft.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
light skinned boys are
that's
soft,
it.
light skinned boys are zesty, stuff like that. But then it's not really like a thing that it actually affects light skinned people. Things that you say about dark skinned people that are like microaggressions and stuff, it actually affects them and their mental health and how they feel. And you know, I've never heard a light skinned person say, "Oh, I wish I was dark skinned." But I've heard plenty dark skinned people say, "Oh, I wish I was lighter."
You actually said something that I was gonna say. The thing about, I feel like, colorism is, mostly that skin tone looks better than this skin tone, so they receive more respect or more privilege or whatever. But you have to think about the effects the effects that come with that privilege or the effects that come with that disadvantage of being dark skinned. So me personally, I think it affects both. I'm not gonna say like a percent or nothing because I don't know, but I feel like the stuff that goes with being light skinned or whatever in the battle of colorism is something that can affect like a light skinned's mental health because, like, have y'all ever heard the term light bright? Or like, have you ever heard the
Because
term?
I've definitely called you that.
Have you ever heard the
I'm
term?
sorry.
I'm not talking about me personally. But I'm just saying in general. But have you ever heard like when they say like, oh, you yellow, and like remember yellow
High yellow.
is referred to as
Slave.
being similar to a white person or whatever, and they use it as like an insult. So it's like if you hear that a lot, that could also be triggered as a
Be
mental
like,
health
you high
thing
yellow
too.
bastard.
And then going back to what you said about the yellow, not yellow, lighter toned men or whatever, light skinned men are seen as more feminine, and then dark skinned women are seen as more aggressive or whatever, and stuff like that. So I feel like it affects both, but it's just more common for it to affect the dark skinned community because people touch on the color of your skin so much as opposed to what the effects of the color of your skin can bring, regardless of what the color is.
And see, with that, I can kind of say I had an experience with both. So when I lived in California, I did have actual darker skin tone. I had a really bad burn, and ever since my burn, I've been a little bit more fair. And then I moved to South Carolina, I got a completely different experience. So it was like being in California was like, oh nah, I don't talk to black bees, like I don't talk, like and then I moved to South Carolina and it's like, oh my god, like you light skinned, shut up Kyle, you're light skinned. I'm like, I've never been told a day in my life that I was light skinned, so I moved to the South.
But that's
Because I
also
was always the only black person.
So why did you say
usually in my
light skinned
vicinity.
people don't cry babies?
Oh, because I'm not light skinned, babe.
Period.
that goes to like people like not knowing what different skin tones are
But
because
see what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. But see what I mean? Like how you said what she said about light skinned people are crybabies, and then you said, oh, I'm not light skinned. It's like the association of light skinned people being crybabies, and then you not wanting to be light skinned because there's stereotypes like
See, I
that.
was
Is
just
what I
giving an
mean when I say
example.
colorism affects.
I was giving an example of
It was
what's
a
not
good
to
example.
do.
But yeah, that's what I mean by when I say colorism affects both because it plays both ways.
Yeah.
But I'm
it's
sorry to
just-
cut you off. Back to what you
I
were
forgot
saying.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie.
I honestly don't think it affects both. And if it does, dark skinned people go through it more because light skinned people, they're automatically seen as pretty or like more beautiful. And then like you see a dark skin girl be like, oh, cause I've like people like on TikTok, I've seen like pretty dark skins and they be trying to make them think that they're a transgender. And I'm like, why can't she just be dark skinned and be beautiful? Why does she has Why does
They always
Why should I
associate
be
to
seen
men
as-
as like masculine features, and it's
Because
so
they
annoying.
they just always assume that a dark skinned woman is like there's like even with like Megan Thee Stallion, people be like saying Megan Thee Stallion is trans. Like
And even if she
Oh, but Coy
was
Ray, the baddest walking on the planet.
okay?
And not.
Is that a
No, but that's
sentence?
what I'm saying. Like they'll
That's
bash
what
Megan
they'll
Thee
bash.
Stallion.
That's what I'm saying.
They'll bash Megan Thee Stallion like every single day.
Or they be like,
And
tell
then
me
as soon as-
strong.
Yeah, but as soon as Coy Ray starts shaking, it's like, oh, she's so fine. Coy Ray is so fine. Or even people like Zendaya is so fine. Like
She is
no.
I'm there. All right, well,
In
that's,
colorism.
Thank you for listening
Simply.
or watching.
Period.
okay, that's it for today's episode, guys. Thank y'all for watching. I want to say thank you to the cameraman for helping us out. I want to say thank you to the cast for being able to be here.
Yeah. Because I could have been in my bed asleep.
And coulda.
Yeah.
Yo.
Make sure y'all like the video, y'all comment, y'all subscribe, y'all go follow us on YouTube.
Hey.
Be active on Instagram at CAU in conversation, because we gonna post the next topics, or I'm gonna post basically a poll and y'all get to choose what the next topic is gonna be. And if you wanna be on the cast and you wanna be in here with us and have a conversation,
Yes, please
make sure
come.
you-
Because I was